Coming to you live from Iceworks in Syosset, you're listening to the New York Islanders High School Hockey League middle school action between Half-Hollow Hills and Cold Spring Harbor. Two of the top teams in the middle school standings doing battle for the second time this season. Triple H, 10-2-1 on the year, are in first place with 21 points through 13 games played. Cold Spring Harbor, 9-2 record, 18 points in 11 games played, so a slightly better points percentage and 2 less games played than Half-Hollow Hills. They are 2 points ahead of Wantagh Seaford Plain Edge, WSP, with the game in hand on WSP as well. And both enter the game on some pretty big win streaks. 4 in a row for CHS and 5 in a row for Triple H. Some key players ahead of this matchup, but first, they met each other earlier this season. Did Cold Spring Harbor and Half-Hollow Hills, and it was Cold Spring Harbor winning big, 10-3. On a game that took place back on November 1st. Manuel Stein got the win in goal for Cold Spring Harbor, while the net was split for Half-Hollow Hills between Galvez and Dramisiotis. There we go. Billy Dramisiotis. It was 2-0 Cold Spring Harbor after the first period on a pair of power play goals scored by Kotek and Whelan. Cold Spring Harbor continued the dominance with 4 goals in the second period. Took a 6-2 lead into the third, where they pulled away, scoring 5 unanswered en route to that big 10-3 victory. Again, the second meeting between the two sides. If Cold Spring Harbor are going to get it done, they're going to have to rely on their penalty kill, 71.4%, to shut down the 57.1% power play of Half-Hollow Hills. Hills also with an 87.5 penalty kill. Will be up against a tough task. Again, it was a pair of power play goals for Cold Spring Harbor in that first game against Half-Hollow Hills that got them off to the early lead. 33.3% power play this year for Cold Spring Harbor. As we dive now into the players to look out for in this matchup. For Half-Hollow Hills, they are led by Spencer Goldblatt. 40 goals in 11 games played for Goldblatt. He's been a revelation. Leads the team with 53 points. Jason Castellano close behind with 41. 26 goals, second most on the team. His 15 assists is tied for the most as well with Eric Lee. Lee, 31 points through 12 games played. Owen Brengel, also a player to watch, 22 points in 11 games played. For Cold Spring Harbor, they are led by Waylon Helfer. As we are underway here in this one. Early possession here for Cold Spring Harbor. It's quickly turned over. Half-Hollow Hills trying to go the other way. It is Castellano. Lost it at neutral ice. Helfer, 38 points, 23 goals, leads the way for Cold Spring Harbor. And an early stoppage. The puck deflecting out of play. 20 seconds into the contest. Starting goaltenders tonight will be Stein and Galvez. Stein for Cold Spring Harbor and Galvez for Half-Hollow Hills. Pushed along the near side. Kept alive by Louis Anglin. Tap back along into the offensive zone by Nielsen. It's back with Anglin. Pokes it up the near side. And eventually Cold Spring Harbor able to put it in the offensive zone. It's where it's quickly gathered and sent ahead. Briefly broken up. And now the Half Hollow Hills rush can commence, at least for the moment, before it's brought back in by Whelan. Whelan to the net, turned away by Galvis, and he'll hold. So Whelan making his presence felt early in this hockey game. And Henry Whelan, 11 goals, 3 assists, 14 points in just 3 games played. As they score right off the face-off, Cold Spring Harbor break the ice and lead it 1-0. On just their second shot on goal. Cold Spring Harbor lead it by 1. Waylon Helfer. Now here's Lee into the offensive zone for Triple H. Try to play it on, and instead it's carried back out by Henry Whelan. Whelan down the right wing side with speed. Breaks in past Lee. On the end boards, looks to center the front of the net, broken up. Half Hollow Hills look to break out. As we approach 2 minutes gone by in the first period. Unassisted goal for Waylon Helfer. Helfer's 24th of the season. Brought back in, it's Whelan. Shot, scores! 2-0, Cold Spring Harbor. Henry Whelan. Whelan and dealing. Beats Galvis 5-0. You see the strong stick coming in on the far boards. Through the legs, hello. And why not? Through the legs once more to double Cold Spring Harbor's lead. It's 2-0 early on just their third shot on goal. Whelan and Helfer. Half Hollow Hills trying to keep it in the zone. And eventually Lee will bring it in. Lee surrounded by Eagles. Looks to play it out. Banked ahead, taken back by Lee. Lee puts it into the zone. Goldblatt chasing hard after it and got there first and just past the goal line for icing before Goldblatt could play it. So icing against Half Hollow Hills. 2:45 into this first period. Offensive zone draw to be taken here by Spagnoletti. And now it's back to be played on further by Cold Spring Harbor. So to get the cycle going, still it's Spagnoletti. He lost possession in the corner, back to the point for a rip, turned aside. That came off the stick of Gerges. Half Hollow Hills clear the zone. Miscommunication there between Goldblatt and Jordan Bobkin as Goldblatt took off in the opposite direction in which the pass went. Taken back by Half Hollow Hills. Trying to play it ahead here. Is Bobkin, he is. It's Goldblatt over the line, onside. Goldblatt to the far circle, rips a shot, fought off, a good save made by Stein. Bobkin trying to keep it deep for Half Hollow Hills. Down by 2 early, it's Goldblatt. Goldblatt Evading the forecheck. Brings it into the offensive zone. Goldblatt to the backhand, out in front. Chance for Castellano. Never got the shot off. Still with Castellano. To the point, Bopkin. However, Bopkin lost it to Gerges, who will go for a change. Cold Spring Harbor, across, right out in front, they score! 3-0 CSH on the one-time blast. Looked like that was Nathaniel Melrose. And Melrose making it 3-0. Just his third goal this year. It's all Cold Spring Harbor. As we just get past 5 minutes through this first period, and there's another one. 4-0 Cold Spring Harbor. As Chase Lonazak gets on the score column. Before I could even add the third tally, 4-0. Lonazak from Nielsen. That last goal is credited to Gavin Whelan. Supposedly wears number 7. Though I swear 42 put that goal in, but all the backs of the jersey say Seahawks, so who knows? Cold Spring Harbor looking to continue to pour it on early in this first period. Puck played out. Napolitano couldn't chase it down, and it gets out of the reach of Brengel. Centering feed blocked. Under 9 to play in the first period. Another offensive zone possession here for Cold Spring Harbor. Try to go back to the point. Nobody's there. No icing here. Racing back over to it for Cold Spring Harbor, Eden Wittenbach. Now skating on with it, Della Caprini. Carpini. Lost the handle. Here comes Lee. Lee into the offensive zone with speed. Wrist shot steered aside. Another save made by Stein. Cold Spring Harbor right back into the offensive zone. Half Hollow Hills break out. 3-on-2. Streaking across. Napolitano. The shot slowed up and goes wide. Napolitano again. Behind the net. Fed it out in front. Denied by Stein. Rebound, scores. Getting Half Hollow Hills on the board. It's Goldblatt. Score is now 4-1. Good flurry of offensive chances, and watch the stick down. First shot stopped by Emmanuel Stein, and then the rebound off of Stein and into the back of the net. So the deficit now 3 for Half Hollow Hills. Can they build some momentum off that goal? Jalbert. There's a lead pass for Goldblatt. Moves in, shoots, denied by Stein. Great save there by Emmanuel Stein. Goldblatt with a stick flung in his direction, playing it down the boards. Novick Had it sticked away from him. Cold Spring Harbor break out. Down to the ice in a heap goes Henry Whelan, and that will be a penalty against Half Hollow Hills in frustration. Shown by Spencer Goldblatt. Power play CSH. And coming in, a 33.3% power play effectiveness. And they win the offensive zone draw. Della Carpini laying it down the boards. But the puck sent out by Half Hollow Hills. A good clear by Goldblatt. F1 is Castellano. Good puck movement by Cold Spring Harbor. And they'll get it ahead to Henry Whalen. Whalen got stick checked by Lee. Comes back to the point. Settling it in, John Nielsen. Nielsen down the near side. Good pass. Here's a shot and a glove save made by Galvis. Good point blank save made here by Logan Galvis. Still a minute and 12 seconds left on the power play for Cold Spring Harbor. And an equipment malfunction. Got to tie those skates up. Taking advantage of the break. The two Cold Spring Harbor defensemen, and being Wittenbach and Della Carpini, talking out their plan ahead of this face-off. Face-off that is eventually controlled by Cold Spring Harbor. Down low, played around by Gimble. Gimble now lost it. Stepping over to it is Nielsen. Nielsen goes down, and it's going to be another penalty against Half Hollow Hills. Tripping. First penalty to Bobkin was for a trip as well. And so now Half Hollow Hills down 2 skaters for the next 57 seconds. Not where you want to be, down by 3 in the early going here. Whelan will take the face off. That would be Henry. It's won defensively, though, by Triple H. Goldblatt trying to find some room down the left wing side. Can't quite clear. Now numbers the other way for Cold Spring Harbor to the slot where it's blocked. And backhanded just out of the zone by Half Hollow Hills' Goldblatt. Right back in is Whelan. Whelan eventually jostled free of the puck. Now a slap shot. One-timer goes wide. So that came off the stick of Helfer. Off the carom, Della Carpini, a wrist shot. And that's stopped and held by Galvis with 13 seconds left on the 5-on-3. Off the face-off. Half Hollow Hills get it to the line. Can they punch it out the remaining couple feet? They cannot. But now a minute of power play time for Cold Spring Harbor, set to begin. Get a stoppage in play. 37 seconds left, the 5-on-4 here for Cold Spring Harbor, as they couldn't convert on the 5-on-3. To the point, a wrist shot. Punched away by Galvis, taken by Wittenbach. Now out in front, a chance stopped by Galvis as well. Again, Cold Spring Harbor and Half Hollow Hills, two of the top teams in the middle school standings. The middle school East standings, to be more precise. To the front of the net, good stick check. And now Castellano looking to go the other way with it. Pushed all the way down. It'll be on goal to avoid icing. It's in! Oh, no! From long range, Cold Spring Harbor score. And that's an Eagles power play goal. And a tough one for Galvis. 5-1 Cold Spring Harbor. Backhanded by Ashley Melrose up the far side. Or pardon me, that was Shane Friedman. And now Eric Lee, evading one Cold Spring Harbor player, moves in. Lee joined by McCaughey. McCaughey puts it into the offensive zone. Goes right back out and down for an icing against Cold Spring Harbor. 2:43 to go in this first period. Cold Spring Harbor erupting for 5 in the opening frame, 4 unanswered. And that most recent goal goes to Louis Anglin. Offensive zone draw for Half Hollow Hills. Goldblatt looking to center. Trying to skate it out. Good keep-in and defense there from Lola Blayman. And now a one-timer from Lee missed. Here's Blayman, a wrist shot. Save made by Stein. Rebound, kick to the point, not out. Long wrist shot, floats wide. Picked up and skated out by Half Hollow Hills. And Whalen that is Gavin Whalen. And now here's Goldblatt spinning. Goldblatt stopped by Stein. What a move by Goldblatt. Nearly a highlight reel goal, but Emmanuel Stein had other ideas. Look at the spin. Perfect to the backhand. Oh, the glove of Stein. What a save on what would have been one of the goals of the year. Still pressing for more as Blayman sends it down low. Cold Spring Harbor can't clear just yet. Back with Gavin Whalen. Poked off his stick to the front of the net. Wouldn't go. Good play, though, from Half Hollow Hills. Aggressive on the forecheck. That time was Antonio Napolitano. Now a wrist shot. Score! Castellano wrists it home upstairs, making it 5-2. Castellano's second point tonight, adding now a goal to his prior assist, and the deficit back to 3. Carried into the offensive zone by Frendo. Dominic Frendo. And now a long shot blocked. Taken by Lonizak. Castellano into open space. Carried by Lola Blayman. Now Napolitano. Inside, outside. Going to work on Macaluso. Half-Hollow Hills applying the pressure. Frendo lost it to Goldblatt. Goldblatt dangles. Goldblatt outside. Round the net. Wraparound try. Wouldn't go. Goldblatt another drive off the post. Goldblatt backhands out in front. Another chance here for Hills. Couldn't get a shot through. Miraculously held in the zone by Blayman. And that'll do it for the first period, or pardon me. That was not Blaine, but rather Jordan Kreiner on that last keep in, but that will do it for quite the eventful first period. 7 goals. Cold Spring Harbor leading 5-2 after 1. You're listening to the New York Islanders High School Hockey League here on LI Sports Network. Second period underway. Again, 5-2, the score in favor of Cold Spring Harbor. They led it 4-0 at one point, as they were scoring early and often. And from all over the ice tonight, as that shot wristed wide by McGuire. Or pardon me again, that is Jordan Kreiner. Kreiner trying to keep in. It's poked by her. Good lead pass, sends in. Jalbert. Lee calls for it, gets it for Half-Hollow Hills, trying to initiate the breakout. And now it's Goldblatt. Goes to the outside, had a miraculous goal robbed from him by Stein. That centering pass intercepted, and now carried ahead by Whalen. Henry Whalen, though, jostled free of the puck. Goldblatt deflects back in for Half-Hollow Hills, applying the pressure to Della Carpini. Swung around. Lee will jump back on it. Eric Lee. Rims around. Eventually cut off again by Della Carpini. Sliced up the far boards by Jalbert. Unable to hold in was Bobkin, but does a good job of back checking to poke the puck away from the incoming Cold Spring Harbor attack. It's Goldblatt onside with Castellano. Goldblatt on the backhand, swept it across, wouldn't go. Another great save made by Stein. You could argue Emmanuel Stein, her goaltending the difference so far in this one. And now a 2-on-1 down low. Lone defender back is Melrose, and Melrose does a great job, or pardon me, was Friedman. And Friedman does another good job. Not out of the woods yet, a wrist shot, score! Top shelf. Waylon Helfer making it 6-2, Cold Spring Harbor. His second of the game. And that was way upstairs from Waylon Helfer. Helfer now on the year. 25 goals. Half Hollow Hills looking for yet another response. Napolitano had to come off his stick. Kreiner tried to keep in. Skated back out and into the offensive zone. Now to the front of the net. Good rush ahead by Spagnoletti. Pardon. Spagnoletti. And it's in. They score again. Trickled through Galvis. 7-2 Cold Spring Harbor. And it's in behind. And this is just going to leak through. I picked it up late. It squeaks through Galvis. 7-2 Cold Spring Harbor. Carter Spagnoletti the goal. Gerges and Gimbel the assists. Dicing whiz way through, try to poke it through Stein, no dice. Great rush up ice again by Eric Lee to no avail. Off the draw, Cold Spring Harbor trying to break out, they cannot. Long wrist shot. Blocker save made by Stein. Lee holds in at the near point. Eric Lee looking for some room near side. Breaks toward middle of the ice. Now on the far side. We'll rim it around for Brengel. Tied up in the corner boards and works free here for Cold Spring Harbor. Good lead pass ahead to Gimbel, but Gimbel lost it to Friedman. Backhanded on by Lola Blayman. Eric Lee settles the puck down. Looks to initiate the rush up ice. Able to fight his way through Nielsen. Eric Lee, another nice move. Lee scores! Eric Lee, end to end. What an individual effort to cut the lead back down to 4. Got around just about every member of Cold Spring Harbor on the ice, including that beautiful last move. So 7-3 the score. Kreiner, pardon. Banks one ahead. Here's Goldblatt trying to speed through neutral ice. Had the puck poked into his in between the feet, which temporarily stalled the rush of Goldblatt as Napolitano flips in. It's cleared out the far side, only as far as Jordan Bobkin. Here comes Bobkin. Wrist one towards Stein, stick to the corner. Carried ahead now by Gerges. And a long shot, from John Nielsen. Went wide, loading up the cannon and firing. Delacarpini never got through. Now Goldblatt 2-on-2 with Castellano. Goldblatt trying to split the D. Now it's Castellano. Wrist shot. Save made. Stein. Kreiner. Wrist shot. Never got through. Off the block. Kreiner tries to keep it deep. It's poked out of the zone by Cold Spring Harbor. Castellano. Hands it back to Lee. Lee feeds Goldblatt. Goldblatt around a couple of Eagles. Breaks in, top of the circle, fought off. Rebound, another save made. Stein, still loose in the crease. And still loose in the crease. And now Stein's got it. And we get a little bit of extra sauce after the whistle. .854 left in the second. 3 goals here in the middle period thus far. Eric Lee. Lola Blaman picks up an assist on the Lee goal. Carter Spagnoletti and Waylon Helfer. Here's Eric Lee. Fighting his way through, number of stick checks to the front of the net, off the side of the net, pops out in front. No one from Half Hollow Hills could find the open puck. And now Lee getting back, intercepts the lead pass into the offensive zone. Eric Lee unable to get by the Cold Spring Harbor defender. Great defense provided there by Nielsen. Lee again on the near half wall. Comes out of the zone. Friedman try to go across. Knocked down out of midair. Here comes Lonazak, a long wrist shot. Turned aside by Galvis. And now poked out of the zone by Half Hollow Hills and Daniel McCaughey. Lee banks one to his partner. However, Shane Freeman couldn't get it into the zone. Once again, Eric Lee. Now a potential odd man rush. Here's the chance. Wrist shot, score! Dominic Frendo. 8-3 Cold Spring Harbor. And the turnover at the blue line. A goalie's worst nightmare, a coach's worst nightmare, leads to that 2-on-1 rush. And unselfish play, passing to the wide open Frendo. Unselfish, but absolutely the right play to make it 8-3 Cold Spring Harbor. Poked into the offensive zone there by Ashley Melrose. The actual Ashley Melrose. It's played ahead, glove down by Henry Whelan. Helfer trying to break through, could not. And now a lead pass just through the stick of Brengel. Whalen, high flip into neutral ice. Skipped through the Half Hollow Hills defender in Jordan Kreiner. Offsides, though, is called against Cold Spring Harbor. Helfer wins the draw back. Good job by Wittenbach to poke it ahead, but nevertheless, it's Castellano dangling through a long wrist shot wide. Cold Spring Harbor clear. Bobkin lost it. Helfer, wrist shot wide. Scooped up by Castellano. To the line, not out. Long wrist shot. Blocker save made by Galvis. And it's in the feet of Kreiner. She'll poke it behind. And spin away out of trouble. Good skating here from the Half Hollow Hills defenseman and Jordan Kreiner. Here's Goldblatt. Drags Goldblatt. Pressured from behind by Whelan. Spun one in front. Popped wide of the net. Castellano try to dig it free. Taken out by Cold Spring Harbor. Rink wide, it hits. Whelan passed across. Helfer toward the front of the net. Knocked down by Kreiner. Stolen away by Whelan. The shot never got through. Back comes Half Hollow Hills. Castellano with speed. Castellano poked away. Great defensive play by Wittenbach. Helfer. Punched away by Goldblatt. Now it's back with Wittenbach. Helfer. Unable to get by. Now Half Hollow Hills emerge. Up the right wing side. Another rush from Castellano. Helped out by Novick. Try to return pass to Novick. Expecting it. Della Carpini picked it off. Cold Spring Harbor trying to break in. Henry Whelan again. Plays it ahead for Gerges. Spins one out in front. Came all the way through. Now in the slot, Helfer, wrist shot blocked. Away comes Goldblatt. Goldblatt picking up speed through neutral ice. Weaving, Goldblatt shooting. Glove save made by Stein. And she covers. With 4:08 to go in the second period. Another quality save from Emmanuel Stein, her 16th tonight. As Half Hollow Hills are actually out shooting Cold Spring Harbor 19-16 to this point in the hockey game. Got by Lee. Lee must go all the way back to retrieve the loose puck. Pressured by Gimble. Lee speeding away from a couple of Eagles. Sweeps it into the zone. Another great rush here from Lee, and he'll draw a penalty at the very least out of the whole ordeal. A hooking call. And they're going to get Carter Spagnoletti. Who scored his first goal of the season earlier in this game. It's a power play for Half Hollow Hills. Their first tonight. Here's Lee. Playing it to the far boards. Try to get it out in front. Punched away now. A chance to clear for Cold Spring Harbor. They will. Comes down on goal. And it got through. Galvis again. It's another long-range goal for Cold Spring Harbor. Oh boy. Another tough one for Galvis, who's got to be thinking to himself, I've saved all these other high quality chances. What's going on with these long range dribblers? But that's why you practice, why you keep getting better each and every day. And sometimes it's not the difficult things, but more the basic stuff. It's another long range goal scored by Louis Anglin. So England's second goal tonight, and both have come from about 180 feet down ice. And both goals, his first of the season as well for England, as a timeout was called by Half Hollow Hills. 3:22 left here in the second period. Still have a minute and 36 seconds left on the power play. Eleven different skaters for Cold Spring Harbor have a point in the game, and that depth, the big reason. That and the goaltending of Stein, why they have established this 6-goal lead, 9-3 over Half Hollow Hills. Lee moves in, or long wrist shot punched out by Stein. Goldblatt had it poked off his stick, and it got by Lee. Another clear for Cold Spring Harbor. They'll quickly change up as many as they can. Napolitano right back in, trying to fight his way through. It's Castellano, could not. Backhanded down the boards by Brengel. Settle down. By Gavin Whalen. Scrum in the far corner boards. 2-on-2 battle. Puck finally worked free. Comes to Whalen. Trying to hold in on the backhand, unable to do so. Brengel. Castellano to Napolitano. And he's unable to break through, but draws a penalty in the process. With 15 seconds left on the Half Hollow Hills power play, it'll be a brief 5-on-3. So joining Carter Spagnoletti in the box is Jack Macaluso. Goldblatt, Lee, Kreiner, Napolitano, and Castellano, the forward group for the 5-on-3 for Half Hollow Hills. Face-off win would go a long way. They do get it. It's back with Lee. Lee to Goldblatt. Spencer Goldblatt to the front of the net. Backhand, I believe that was trying for a pass back door. It was blocked and cleared by Cold Spring Harbor, and the 5-on-3 is over. About a minute and 30 seconds of 5-on-4 for Half Hollow Hills. And 0 for 1 on the power play. Castellano across Goldblatt. Return pass stopped by Stein. Oh, Emmanuel Stein. And now an offsides on Cold Spring Harbor as they are trying to generate a shorthanded look. Minute 8 to go on the power play for Hills. And that's how much time is left here in the second period. A second period controlled by Cold Spring Harbor. Outscoring Half Hollow Hills 4-1, and now nudged along. Here's another chance. Now a 2-on-0. The pass across. Score! Shorty for Cold Spring Harbor. Great setup by Helfer. And punched in by number 7, listed as Gavin Whalen. And that is who's going to get the goal. 10 spot for CSH. Do they have another before the period's over? No. Rimmed around for Brengle. Half-Hollow Hills having trouble clearing. Brengle couldn't quite get it out. Speared into the corner by Melrose. To the front of that, it's blocked by Friedman. Friedman trying to clear. Lead pass intercepted, and that will do it for the second period and the power play for Half-Hollow Hills. It's all Cold Spring Harbor yet again. 10-3, they lead Triple H after 2. So you're listening to the New York Islanders High School Hockey League here on LI Sports Network. Welcome back here to Iceworks in Syosset, site of tonight's middle school matchup between Half-Hollow Hills and Cold Spring Harbor. Half-Hollow Hills will need quite the comeback to get back in this one. Down by 7, heading into the final period of regulation. And again, it's been the depth of Cold Spring Harbor proving to be too much for Half-Hollow Hills. And scoring maybe the goals they shouldn't, and taking advantage of the chances they have gotten. And utilizing the excellent goaltending, providing an advantage for Cold Spring Harbor. Emmanuel Stein has been fabulous tonight. 18 of 21 heading into this third period. While for Galvez, it's been a game to forget to this point, but also to learn from, as of course that is the primary objective for these young players out on the ice, is to continue to learn and get better. As that wrist shot toward the front of the net won't go. A goaltending change for Cold Spring Harbor. Brendan O'Connor will relieve Emmanuel Stein here in this third period, as she gets a round of applause at the end of that period. So get Brendan O'Connor some looks here with the 7-goal lead. O'Connor this year has only played in 1 game and has an .889 save percentage, has faced 9 shots and allowed 1 goal this season. Here's Goldblatt to the net, posted in. Spencer Goldblatt. Welcome to the game, Brendan O'Connor. Not a friendly sight seeing one of the top scorers in the entire middle school division, and Spencer Goldblatt bearing down on you. What a beautiful move to create separation there by Goldblatt. See, he got around Anglin, and not much for O'Connor to do there, as 10-4 is the score. Over. Chance here, Cold Spring Harbor. They score it. They take it right back. It's 11-4. A great pass to the front of the net. And it's buried by Gerges. And little to no chance there for the Half Hollow Hills goaltender. Gerges from Gimbel. Second of the game for Gerges. And somewhere in there, a goal must have changed because Louis England has a hat trick. As I'm seeing here for Cold Spring Harbor, 11-4 the score. A chance there, turned aside by O'Connor. Castellano has it behind the Cold Spring Harbor goaltender. Now we'll try to wrap it around, and it's stopped again by O'Connor. .12:14 left here in the third period. Goldblatt 2 goals tonight, up to 42 on the season for Hills. And now they took the goal back. There's no hat trick for England. A statistical error. Kreiner, wrist shot, save made. O'Connor, the rebound, cleared out from in front. Back with Jordan Kreiner. She'll play it around. Backhanded up the near side by number 44. That's Marcus Gronley. Novick had to go by him. Kreiner couldn't keep it in. Back comes Gavin Whalen. Gavin trying to charge the front of the net. Eventually knocked away from him. Wristed on, and blocker save is made by Galvis. Out come Half Hollow Hills. It's Lee. Eric Lee dragging to the backhand. Couldn't quite bring it home. Good defense by Wittenbach. Shot from Kreiner goes wide. Off the carom. Trying to feed the front of the net. Gronley was there. And Gronley poked it away from Della Carpini. But nevertheless, Cold Spring Harbor break out. And now a rush the other way. It's Eric Lee. Lee is in. Lee draws the penalty. Doesn't matter. He scores. It was going to be a penalty shot, but no need when you bury the thing. And that's what Eric Lee does. His second goal of the game. And just a slow change and miscommunication leading to that break for Lee to make it 11-5. And again, tough spot to put their goaltender, Brendan O'Connor, in. It's Goldblatt. Sent down to the ice by Lonizak. Fired around. Then a high wrist shot over the net. Eric Lee. Avoiding the stick checks. To the point, here's Goldblatt loading up, fires! Fought off by O'Connor. Keeping it alive on the far point, Christian Andraka. D-to-D pass, away come Cold Spring Harbor. Back with Spencer Goldblatt. Pair of goals tonight for Goldblatt. To the backhand. Flicks it across. He's trying to get it over to Novick. Now out with speed. Lonizak. Across, good pass. And they score again. Great pass by Lonizak as he sets up his teammate for the goal. Dominic Frendo, second of the game. Makes it 12-5 in favor of Cold Spring Harbor. Cold Spring Harbor scored 13 their last game against Syosset Levittown, and they'll make it 13 here. As that goal scored by Waylon Helfer. His hat-trick goal, fourth point of the night for Helfer. As I was saying, 13 last game against Syosset Levittown. They scored 10 against Half Hollow Hills and Plain Edge Old Bethpage Island Trees, POBIT. And they also put up 17 on Garden City Herricks Mineola in their opening game of the year that they won 17-8. This is the sixth game played this year by Cold Spring Harbor where they have scored double-digit goals, showing that they are one of the teams to beat with one of the brightest futures in the New York Islander High School Hockey League program. And here's another odd man rush. Helfer shoots and scores. Make it 14 for Cold Spring Harbor. The 2-on-1, he could have tried to get it across to Jalbert instead. Gonna take it himself for the fourth goal of the night for Helfer, as Cold Spring Harbor lead it by 9. Henry Whalen picks up the assist on the goal by Helfer. As my apologies for continuing to stop the clock. We're in running time. I didn't know if the NYISHSHL did that. I know at the varsity level they do not. But here in the middle school level, I'm going to run the clock here in the third period. Show some mercy to Half Hollow Hills, who look at the shots on goal, even at 24 apiece. But a bit misleading as the odd man rushes, and quality chances certainly favoring Cold Spring Harbor. They score again. It's Carter Spagnoletti's second of the game, second of the season. And the lead for the Eagles now 10. Goldblatt looking for his hat-trick goal. Does he have it here on the backhand? No, he's denied. Denied by Brendan O'Connor. Lee will take the face-off. Was playing defense most of the game. Goldblatt, who was playing forward, now playing defense. Rips a shot that's gloved and held by O'Connor. Goldblatt loads up, fires, and a blocker save made by O'Connor. CSH the other way. And it's covered up by Galvis. Goldblatt, the leading scorer in the entire middle school division in goals and points. Second is Castellano, but they have been neutralized by a balanced attack and defense of Cold Spring Harbor, as there's a beautiful little kick save made by O'Connor. Not a butterfly goaltender. Quite the throwback in between the pipes for the Eagles as he goes down to make the right pad stop. Goldblatt again. Cuts to the middle. Goldblatt, backhander is stopped by O'Connor. Eric Lee, 7th most points between both middle school divisions. Waylon Helfer is 5th. However, he'll be moving up after tonight's 5-point outpouring. Trying to feed the front of the net there, Macaluso. Bobkin turned it over. Dumped back in by Nathaniel Melrose. Castellano in with speed. Castellano stopped by O'Connor. The puck was behind him, and now O'Connor doesn't like the aggression from the Half Hollow Hills forward in behind the crease. Owen Brengel. So Cold Spring Harbor going to get the win here, obviously, at this point of the game. In terms of the standings, they'll be 10-2. They'll be still 1 point behind Half Hollow Hills, but that's mostly due because Half Hollow Hills has played 2 more games than Cold Spring Harbor. They have beaten them head-to-head twice now. And if/when they make up those games, they will surpass Half Hollow Hills if those are wins. Cold Spring Harbor this year, their only losses have come to Wantagh Seaford Plain Edge, 9-6, and Massapequa, 5-4. Both of those teams are lower in the standings than Cold Spring Harbor. They represent the 3rd and 4th place teams, but have had no problem here with first place Half Hollow Hills this year, a 10-3 win, and now see if it'll be a 15-5 or 16-5 game as they try to pour it on at the end here. Galvis makes the stop. I think it doesn't matter. It's 15-5. 15-5, 16-5 dominance for Cold Spring Harbor. So they get the win over Half Hollow Hills. 11 different players had more than a point for Cold Spring Harbor. 5 points for Helfer, 4 goals and an assist. A goal and 2 assists for Gerges. Pair of goals for Carter Spagnoletti, Gavin Whelan, and Dominic Frendo. Pair of assists for Gimble, 2 goals for England. A goal and 2 assists for Henry Whelan. O'Connor, 6 of 8. And Emmanuel Stein shined. 18 of 21 saves through 2 periods of hockey for Stein. 2 more goals for Eric Lee and Spencer Goldblatt. But a game to forget for Half Hollow Hills Middle School. As that will do it for our coverage here in this one. Thank you so much for tuning in to the New York Islanders High School Hockey League here on LI Sports Network. On behalf of our camera operator, Rowan Laddick, my name's Ryan Brannigan, saying so long. Until next time, folks, as always, have a good night.